Well, hey guys, welcome to Bowhunting Soul. Okay, I want to make a video today about just a couple little hacks, okay, that make tree climbing a little bit easier if you're going to hunt out of a tree stand. None of these are anything that I came up with. These are just some hacks that I've seen online from other people that have invented this way before me, and I've implemented in trying to make my climbs a little bit easier, more comfortable, a little more efficient. So I'm gonna climb, not really gonna climb this tree. I'm gonna kind of show you on this tree, not necessarily gonna climb very high, but I'm gonna talk about a couple things. One is gonna be my setup with what I got going on here. And the other is going to be just a couple little hacks that's going to make life in the tree, setting up, setting down a little bit easier. So first thing I'm going to talk about is this setup here. I've got the Kuiu Venture 1800. It's got the organization I need. It's got the size I need. The 2300 is even bigger. I don't have that one, but I like this one. I don't like bags you have to compress down 99% of the time. And I can fit a boned out deer in here or a boned out whatever in here, and I have. So I'm not so worried about that. The other thing I've got is the Novix Hilo, and I've got two sticks, one with a cable aider and one with a movable aider. Now the movable aider, of course, I forgot back at home. I don't have with me, but you're just gonna have to imagine. So I'm gonna set up a couple things here. I'm gonna take this apart and I'll set it up on the tree. I'll walk you through the stick and stands first, and then I'll walk you through just a couple quick little hacks on the tree stand itself while you're in the tree stand. One of the first hacks, by the way, before we even get started, is I wear my harness in, right? This is the Tactisaddle from, Tactisaddle. This is the original Tactisaddle, okay? Let me push that down here. This is the original one. I've got two bridges on here, so when I was saddle hunting, I would do two for safety. I should really just shell out the money and buy like the Tactisaddle version of this with the actual loop like right here, or like a Dryad like Killdeer or something like that. Those are pretty cool. But right now I'm using this as my harness, right? I'm not using a back style harness. I'm using, sorry for the sniffles, I'm getting over a cold. I'm using this one, and it seems to be working out just fine. Plus I can use this to saddle hunt if I want, and I can use this to one stick climb if I want. So we're gonna get into that. All right, so I'm gonna set everything up here. When I get to the tree, I'm basically wearing my Tactisaddle in. Some people don't like doing that. It doesn't bother me at all. I can walk for miles in this thing, and it's just as comfortable. It doesn't really get in the way, and it allows me to kind of fumble around with getting my leg, through the straps and all that stuff at the Jeep, rather than a mile back in the woods or something like that, at the base of the tree when it's dark or whatnot. So, all right, so that's going to be the first thing. Let me get all the stuff off, and then we'll continue on. All right, first things first, I take off my binos. They're gonna go in my pack. I walk in with my binos, but I set them aside. And then here's what I got going on with my tree stand. Now, I do use a ratchet strap. Now, you can do this quietly, right? And if you can't do it quietly, figure out how to do it quietly. It's not that hard, okay? This little ratchet strap works perfect, and it can sit at the base of the tree. Then I've got my two little straps here that hold this onto my pack. And I pull out my stand. Here is my stand. Of course, it's rattling, but I wouldn't be lifting it up like that. And I've got two sticks. I've got one, it's a B stick. This is a 20-inch B stick, right? Stealth stripped. And I use the cam buckle, right? So you can throw it around the tree. It's got some weight to it. Don't bang it off like that, right? I stealth stripped the sides of this. Actually, it's not. It's like gaffer tape, but stealth stripped the sides of everything else. So that's one. This is going to be my bottom stick, and this bottom stick actually goes on. And I have like a 5-foot aider that I put on here. So the aider I can actually put up as high as I can, and then I'm only doing that on the bottom stick. Okay. Next is my second stick, which is I had converted into a one stick setup, and this has the cam cleat on it with the amp steel rope, and it also has I believe it's a 15-inch cable aider. Now any aider other than the very bottom one, I'm a huge proponent of just the cable aiders. They stay rigid, they stay open. When you're trying to go up and down, it's just a whole lot safer. This will be my top stick, and if I need to go even higher, I can one stick up with this one and one stick back down and whatever. Now I can one stick all the way up and down without carrying the second stick, obviously. But for me, I don't like being much over 12, 13 feet anyway. That's just a personal thing. We'll get into that a little bit later. But so this is going to be my second stick. So I'm going to set these up here and I'll show you. Okay, so obviously I don't have my movable aider, right? It's like a little like ladder type aider that I use on the bottom here. So I'll put the stick basically as high as I can put it, maybe like even a little bit higher, and then cinch down. So that gives me, I don't know, I'm like 5'8", 5'9", something like that. So, I mean, that's, you know, not quite 6 foot up to there, but the aider to the bottom, I don't really care about, you know, I can jump off something like this. If the aider falls off, no big deal. It's just one of those webbing type aiders that I use. It's a 5-step aider. No big deal. I'll hang it off here and climb up and then keep on going up. Of course, in between, I've got, when I climb up, I'll have this, and I'll have maybe 15, 18 inches in between this, right up there. And then, I don't know, that gets me till 12 to 13 feet. I don't like heave-hoeing my way into the stand itself, to the actual stand. I think it's unsafe. Anything I can't just kind of go like this and put a knee on and kind of climb on, it puts too much side load onto there. So that ends up being like 15 inches maybe, which is about like this much. Okay, and you don't think that's a lot, but that's actually a lot when you're trying to climb into a stand and do it safely. I don't like going much past over that. It's just not safe, and I don't really like being very high elevation anyway. 12, 13 feet, I'm comfortable. You go up just even a few more feet than that, 15 feet, and I'm like, I'm starting to get sketched out. I've never been totally 1,000% comfortable in tree stands. Depends on the situation, depends on the tree, but you know, that's it. So anyway, I'm not going to show you the climb, but this is basically going to be my second one. And when I climb, I'll hang this over here. I'll get on the first stick using my lineman belt, of course, and then I'll climb up and then hang my stand. So I'm gonna hang the stand. I'll show you. All right. So one quick thing before I actually hang the stand, I've got the step pretty low here, just so I'm not gonna climb very high. Stand's gonna be up here. So pretend we're at height, right? Before I climb, okay, I've got two 8mm ropes here. One's got a rope men 1 on it, and the other one just has a regular prusik on it. I'm gonna get to that. Now, this one is going to be my tether when I get in the tree. It's also going to be for getting above branches and above, if for some reason I have to hang my stand above my lineman belt when I get up there. I want to always be connected to the tree, so I'll climb up. Lineman belt a lot of times gets stuck below the stand. If I had more sticks, then I could get a little higher and then hang the stand lower while my lineman belt was up higher. But I don't really have that option. So what I do is I got a second carabiner here. Okay, this one's going to do double duty. Now you're going to say, if I do this, I can actually kind of girth hitch this around and get rid of an extra carabiner and do one of these. I can, you're right, and I have, but I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is use this, and always make sure it's a locking carabiner. Okay, so I've got my, nope, I did that wrong, sorry. This is going to be for my, see, this is just going to hang from here. My bad. This is just going to hang from my loop. I'm going to go up with this, and this is going to be my my secondary, my primary tether, my secondary lineman, I guess, if I have to get around stuff. Here's going to be my lineman belt, okay? And I'm going to just do the carabiner on the one end, hook it through. Yeah, it's all right. Then close that up, okay? So on the other end, I've got my carabiner and my rope man 1, right? If you don't have a rope man 1, my goodness, what are you doing, okay? And that's gonna end up clicking over here. So I'm gonna get on the tree real quick here. Now, if I wanna hang my stand facing this way, I kind of move the sticks off to one side, make them as tight as you can, and then set them. Setting is important. Then, of course, I'm going around. And then when I'm on the step, This of course gives you hands-free, right? You can let some slack out if you need to. You can suck it in if you need to, okay? Again, always make sure, of course I didn't tighten that, make sure this one's always tightened once it's in, right? It can twist out on you if you're not careful. So always have locking carabiners on here. And then this just allows you to be hands-free and hang a stand. Okay, now super important. Pretend I'm actually on this stick. Again, I'm not going up much higher than this because I'm trying to keep you in frame, right? So I'm like this against the tree and I'm hanging, you know, one hand or two-handed, right? I've got the two-handed thing. Now, you can set your angle, right? With the back bracket. Obviously, you can go this way, right, with an adjustable tree stand. Super important to take out all the slack, okay? Push down, and then set your stand, right? Now, this is a leaning tree, it's leaning backwards. So what I would do is I would put it on the very bottom one. It still kind of slopes upwards a little bit, but that's not a big deal. Now, here's where this other piece of importance comes in, right? We are down below, we're below, my lineman belt is below this. So before I get into the tree, or before I set foot in the stand, I take my second, which is basically my tether, and I'm going around the tree. Going around the tree, bring up a little higher, pinch that down, come down. It's a Prusik, and I put it through my bridge. And then I'm connected, okay? I'm connected now. Before I actually set weight on that thing, right, I will actually make sure I've got good tension on this one, and then I can then release the tension on my lineman belt. I'm hanging off this, just like I'd be saddle hunting almost. So now I'm connected above the tree stand. So then I'll disconnect my my lineman. I could choose to reconnect it or not reconnect it. Okay, and then I'm climbing into the stand. Now, this next little bit right here, very important. This is 100% from Jason Samkoviak. And it's probably the #1 thing that's made me feel safer in a tree stand than anything else whatsoever. Don't worry about doing this cam thing where you're putting, like, you know, your knee on here and, you know, put your knee on here and you do the toe cam thing and push it back down. Doesn't work, right? I've always felt kind of, it's got little micro wobbles, right? What he does, and I don't know why no one has ever thought of this before, including me, but when you're getting in, give it just a good stomp right at the base, right? That's it. That alone sets that stand. It's completely solid for me now. Doing the toe hook thing where you do one of these, you know, and then you reach down and do this and all that, forget it. That's never worked for me. Come down in frame here. That's never worked for me. This one hard stomp right at the base of that seat post takes care of all the little wobbles and concerns that I ever had about being in a tree stand. So Jason, thank you for teaching the world that thing. That is the #1 hot tip. Like I can't, you know, it's such a big deal that it makes this thing feel so much more secure. And it doesn't have to be loud. You can do a couple of soft stomps. You can do one hard stomp. It's the deer aren't going to notice, trust me. But the security that you have with locking the stand is just leaps and bounds better. So we're in the stand now. I'm going to come back down. I'm going to raise the tripod a little bit, or maybe I'll lower the stand and kind of show you some other hacks while we're in the stand to make life a little bit easier. All right, so I'm going to show you a couple things here. I brought this back down to just ground level basically, okay? Now, when I go up with the stand, I didn't mention this, I put it back on my backpack and I climb with the backpack and my stand, right? And I just do it in the air. You could use a pull rope, which is fine. I like doing this one better. If I get stuck up there, if I drop a stick or whatever, my backpack has the self-rescue kind of stuff, in there, and other knives and whatever. I'll climb with a knife anyway, no matter what. You should always have a knife. You need to cut yourself down and take a jump, 10 feet rather than hang there and not be able to get down. I'm going to take my chances with the jump, okay? But some people, pull their backpack up, whatever. So this, I'm going to do a couple things. So when I get up there, right, that tether right there is the tether. Now this is my lineman belt. This lineman belt's going to do double duty as my tree strap to hang my gear off of, okay? Some people like to hang their packs like off the stand and stuff. I like to do it on the side of the tree or kind of quartered away on the other side. And that's where this other carabiner for this one comes into play, right? That's why I said I have two on here when I could really girth hitch this one if I wanted to, but I carry two. This is going to be used to hang my backpack. And then this is it's an S-beaner. It's a bigger one, so the mouth is kind of more open here. It's going to click in, and it's going to click into here. And this is going to be my bow hanger. You can use other bow hangers. Sometimes it gets stuck in here. You got to be quiet with it, depending on your bow, depending on how easy you manipulate it. Get one that's got like a larger opening, right, so that you don't have to finagle the string and the limb tip through there or whatever. It works for me. It doesn't really matter. But if you want something wider, that's fine. But this is going to do double duty since I'm already going to be tethered in with my tether. This is going to be my gear strap. So I'm going to set you up over here, climb in the tree, and then show you what I'm talking about. All right, so we're in the tree right now. When I get up here, I've got my backpack. I'll kind of set it on here or set it on the seat. My bow will still be on the ground, connected to a pull-up rope, okay? I don't think I need to walk you through that. I take this extra carabiner off for now, hook it off to the side. My S-beaner is also sitting here, right? Or it's in my pack, actually. And then this goes around like so. Ropeman one, tightens it up. Okay, I don't think you can see that. I hope you can see that. If not, I'll lower it down a little bit. I don't feel like jumping down all the time. So there you go. I can move this around to the side. So I take my carabiner and I hang it off the side of the tree, just like that. Okay, this is my lineman belt that I used to get up here. I'm already on here with my tree strap, or my my other lineman slash tether slash whatever you want to call it. And then of course on this side over here, I hook it in. I don't know if you can see that on there, but I'll hook this in, and then this bow, I'll show you on this side just because I can. Then this bow goes in and kind of hangs like so, right? But this would be on the other side. The bow would be on the other side. So basically I'm doing double duty with this lineman belt. So my lineman belt, everything on here can be like double duty. This tree tether can be a lineman belt to get around limbs and get around the tree stand, which I use. The lineman belt does double duty as a tree strap, right? So all these things kind of make life a little bit easier, just to get rid of some extra stuff that you may not need. All right, so some of you guys probably already do this. I don't know, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but it's just little things, right? So I've got this like nice and neat. Now I've tried the other gear hangers before. I have the tethered one too, that's got like the daisy chain loops on them and stuff. I never really liked how that thing cinched down. I don't know why. It just kind of binds for me, and like it kind of does one of these, and I don't know, but it's one extra thing to carry around that I don't really need to carry around, right? This does just fine. And I can put another style bow hanger on this if I wanted to, right? It's not that big a deal. When I'm ready to come down, all that stuff just gets done in reverse. I'm coming down with a lineman belt and with a tether, right? And down I go. So one other thing, I don't know if you guys saw the video. I guess I got to redo this zip tie here. But this right here, I cut my seat down significantly. The seats on these Novix Helos and the the Lone Wolf, the old Lone Wolf Assault 2s and stuff like that, they're absolutely gigantic. Okay, I already don't like being out too far out this way, right? So when you have to stand up, you have to go too far out and swing it past your butt and come and walk back. This, first of all, I don't need a giant, seat to be comfortable. I just need a little one. In fact, the little one is more comfortable to me. Also, I cut this side of it because I did a video on this one where if I'm on certain trees, this is a bigger tree, so the tree would actually get in the way of the lower limb of the longbow before the seat would. But in a thinner tree, this is the lowest common denominator, meaning like this, at certain angles with a longbow like this, with a longer bow, the lower limb was, could contact over here. So I trimmed this away. It doesn't need to be there. And I don't sit for most of my sit. Number one, because I can fall asleep anywhere. That's just the thing. And I don't really feel safe sitting in a tree stand. I need to be up and awake and active, like actually standing, because if I start to nod off, and believe me, I can fall asleep like in 3 minutes, like any time of day, right? So sitting up here trying to be comfortable is not my thing. So I'll sit down every now and then, but then most of the time I'm standing up. Plus I'm not spending, 8-10 hours a day in a tree stand. Maybe I'm not as hardcore as some of you guys, but I mean like a few hours at a time, and that's pretty much it. So I'm okay with it being cut down. It has nothing to do with weight, has nothing to do with, making things smaller and shaving ounces or whatever. None of that nonsense. That doesn't matter, right? It's more just because I had some interference over here, just the way I shoot. And again, if the tree is bigger than this, it's a non-issue. The tree is what it is. But if you're in a smaller tree, this one does kind of get in the way a little bit, so I cut it down. So anyway, that's it. Those are like the quickie hacks. Again, none of these things are anything that I came up with. It's just a matter of like cadence too, right? Everything is in a certain spot. Everything gets packed in a certain order, so it gets pulled out in a certain order. So when I go to pack at the end of the night, I'll just do it the same way every time, right? I'll cut, everything goes down the same way. My sticks get wrapped up as I'm coming down most of the time. The stand gets wrapped a certain way. Everything gets done a certain way. And then everything that goes into the pack, everything goes in the same spot, right? So when I'm down on the ground, when I'm going to walk out, I'll have like a leafy top in there, right? That'll go in the bottom. I don't need that one. The binos will go in there. I don't need that one because I'm coming out at night or something like that. And unless it's the daytime, right? But I don't need that. I'm going to walk out. I don't need any extra layer because even if it's cold, I'm going to be like warm enough. So that goes in, very bottom. And then my lineman belt and my tether go in, and then my the harness goes in, right? The saddle goes in, and then everything else just gets on top of that. Tree stand gets strapped onto the back of the backpack, and I'm done. I'm out, right? I can get that done relatively quickly. It's still not as quick as being on the ground. I love being on the ground. I think I showed you that in one of the vlogs here that probably be out by this time, how quickly it is to pack up at the end of a ground sit, right? But if you're going to be in a tree stand, these kind of quick little hacks. So again, none of them are all mine. Some of them, or almost all of them, are, well, actually, I don't know. I kind of take credit for the using my. I'm not the only one, but I've never seen people do it or do a video about it. But the lineman belt for a gear hanger, right? It does double duty. But this, the stomping on this one, 100% Jason Samkoviak. It makes this tree stand so much more secure. And then everything else, of course, is just common sense, right? First in, first out, or last in, first out, whatever it is, or vice versa. So, all right, that's it. This video is long enough. I didn't want it to be too long here. Some of this is common sense stuff. Some of this is probably stuff that you already do. Some of it maybe might be helpful to you guys, especially if you're newer to it. I am by no means an expert in tree stands, but having used these for a few years now, you kind of get into, like I said, a cadence, a rhythm, and certain hacks that you can do that make life a little bit easier. So leave comments below. I'd really like to hear it. I'd like to hear your setup and any kind of tricks and stuff that you do to make life easier for you, setting up, setting down, or life in a tree stand while you're 10, 20, whatever feet in the air it is. So all right, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Please like, share, and subscribe, and have a great season.